Let your curiosity rise.
Mad Bricks webcast,
Where the human spirit flies. Mad Bricks webcast, where the human spirit flies.
Hey, welcome to the Medbix webcast. This is Raman Anam-Raju. I'm the host. Holidays are coming. Happy Thanksgiving to you in advance for all of you. So let me introduce you my co-host, one of my bestie, Dr. Susan Davis. She's joining from Fort Myers, Florida. She's all the way from. Welcome, Susan.
Good evening,
Welcome.
Ramana.
Yeah, you've been traveling around the world already in a festive mood. Yeah, a red dress and everything. Yeah.
You gotta do what you gotta do. There's lots of people to train, lots of lives to save. Gotta do what you gotta do.
The upcoming guest. I'm going to stay by myself this Thanksgiving. A little bit of down about that. But that's okay, just the kids grow and they go on their own and say hello to them from the pod. But anyway, the guest who is coming, Ursula Lentine, I know her for a long time. She's a very close friend of mine, and she knows me from long time, and she knows all my kids growing up. She attended my daughter's wedding.
I didn't know that. That makes this even better. I'm excited.
We spent a lot of time together, Ursula Lentine. She is really, I met her mother, and we had a great dinners a couple of times, and several times with the dinners with Ursula. We had a great time in Atlanta, So it's a history there with us. And then let me introduce you, Ursula Lentine. Welcome, Ursula. Hello, where are you, Ursula? Yeah,
there
welcome.
Hi.
Yeah. So what do you? So I'm telling Susan that we have a long history. We know each other for a long time.
Yeah, we've been friends for many years, and the thing that we love most about our relationship is that I come from a spiritual background, and he comes from a neurophysics background. So we explore many ideas, and when there's a high teaching of each of those categories, they match. Like we can have conversations from those two worlds, and he'll say, he gets mad. How do you know that? You're not supposed to know that. We don't go study. We have forums, argue about these things. And then you just say it like that. How do you know? And we just have a blast all the time.
Ursula, you have no idea. You and I are built-in besties already. That we have all the time. How we became friends with his physics brain, with my questioning mind that I don't even know what to do with. But I'm so pleased to have you here, and so happy to know that you guys have been friends for so long. This makes it so much better.
Yes.
Yeah, Susan is a stellar co-host. That is you can ask better than that. Ursula, I know you. Let us talk about. We go through a lot of phases in life, right? My kids. My whole history of my life. Probably more than anybody else. So I wanted to ask you that. What is we create kids, and my question is, we are producing children, and then after that, what is the life meaning? Just they go on their own, they don't need you anymore. You feel that you were needed something, so it is a struggle in that environment there, but they are. It is a very strange feeling, but same time I like the passion, I like my professionalism and everything. I like it. There is a conflict between the family life and that comes in that one. How do you that conflict? How do you face that conflict?
Yeah. Yeah. So when, and I tell my young families when they're having a baby, I say, listen, I'm going to tell you right now, do not focus on the child, focus on each other. Because when a couple can stay together and work together, because the female turns and she pays all attention to the children, she's a rock star in that mother act, that role that she plays. Not understanding she's going to be retired sooner than she wants to be. And many women will wrap their entire identity up in being a rock star mother, not understanding that they've hurt themselves. It's really a hurting of themselves, of their identity, because they lose 18 years of growth as an individual. So when people pour themselves into their children, and then their children are like, oh my God, you're driving me crazy. I can't stand you. Let me run as far and as fast. The mother, in her subconscious, in her broken heartedness and her misunderstanding of the whole deal, pours all of her problems into the child. And the child's like, hey, I'm just trying to grow up. Why do I have to carry your load? The husband's out of the picture. So then the husband and the wife are strangers. And then after 18 years, if they're still together, they're looking at each other like, who are you? What do you want? So it's a big problem. And when a couple can say, look, it's me and you, the better we are, the better the child will be. Because then the child will watch like, oh, that's how you do it. Oh, that's how you communicate. Oh, that's how you say no. Oh, that's how you be kind to each other. So they're just watching the model behavior instead of all this control stuff. So when a mother and a father love each other and they give that an example, and then that kind of love turns to the child naturally, the child feels loved instead of for the happiness of the mother. So that's the first problem. What you asked me is, how do you disengage from your role as a parent, watching your child go off, and your heartstrings are cut, like severed. They're like, bye. So it's down to communication. So we have to be patient for that child to get into their mid 20s. COVID kind of retarded everything. So early 30s, to say, hey, who are you and how are you as a person? And I'm kind of mad and I kind of have grudges around it. And then for the be like, look, let's have an adult relationship. I did a documentary called You Are Not Alone, Rites of Passage for Adults and Their Parents. And it's about the COVID time where the child had to live in the house with the parent, and the child was always the teenager, even if they're in their 20s. And the parent was always like pulling their hair out. And there's no rites of passage in our American culture. So we don't know how to kind of change from parent to adult. So that's another problem that we all experience. So for you have to wait it out until the kids get curious. If we keep in spirituality, they say, don't dig up the seed. Like if you plant an idea, leave it alone and it'll grow. We're a good father, and you did your best, wrote apology letters and I love you letters to both of them, and just let it go. Check in. How are you doing? Do you need anything? I love you. Eventually look around and say, hey, can I get to know you?
So Ursula, though, my take on the initial question and then your description is wonderful, but isn't life parceled out into timelines? I mean, we're in various timelines from birth to death. And some of it's our youth, and then our growing and our adolescence, and then young adults. And then, yes, the years that you just described, and as a woman, the losing of yourself when you're in the timeline of being a mother. And then we start phasing out of that. And now we have our children, and their children are going, and that separation. But any system of care has a transition. And it's the transitions, I think, that have friction and cause trouble. But we're blessed with the transition that we're in, Ramana, means we're on our way to the next timeline, of which we're blessed with, because we're still here, right? We're still here. And so every breath that we take is the proof of our gift. So I the transitions can itch, and I think itch, scratch, hurt, painful, but But the next step, you know, especially when it's painful, it means we're so close to something new, and
Yes.
we still have time that we have to appreciate whatever's next. So I think
Right.
holidays bring a lot of that friction. But if we have boundaries, and we appreciate and love and dive into our own timeline, it puts a different lens and a different perspective on perhaps the difficulties of the holiday season.
Yes, there's cycles. What I call them is cycles. So there's, you know, natural cycles, everything. So if we understand, oh, I'm in the cycle of separation, and in cycle of separation, which is, you know, in metaphysics, it's not true, because separation is the beginning of our suffering. So in spirituality, if we're all oneness, there is no separation. So the law of error is the belief of separation. So what people who are in this empty nester syndrome can be is like, my love is unconditional. Doesn't matter how far or how many days go by. Doesn't matter if they're mad at me. My love is not separable. So they can disappear. They cannot call. They can be angry. My love is consistent. So we can invest in our own love, and eventually it'll, you know, the other thing is attachment, because true love is not attached. So when we do the empty nester, that's back to the over mothering. There's too much attachment there, and that's where the suffering comes from. So if we're suffering, it's suffering is the degree of attachment. So if I'm suffering,
I'm sorry, I was going to say, and it has a particular vibration that comes with it. So suffering does not feel good, and it is a lower vibration. And I think sometimes we get stuck down there. You know, you get stuck in that lower vibration. And although, you know, the sun's shining and there is a way to a higher vibration, we talk about how long people kind of, whether you get it, addicted is a weird word. I don't want to, I don't even know, but I just think that this causes a lot of lower vibrations, and people kind of get into that vibe and they have a hard time shaking that off and going back upstairs
right,
in a higher vibration, which they know feels better. It's weird how humanity works. Like, we know what feels better.
I know.
And we kind of get hung in these lower vibes.
Yeah. Gratitude, which is the holiday we're talking about, is the easiest stairway. It's like an elevator to go from
I love that.
lower vibe to a big one. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about gratitude.
Elevator. Yes. I love that.
Gratitude is very powerful. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that, Ursula.
Good one.
Whatever we're grateful for increases. So if someone is like, oh, I'm broke, you know, I don't got any money. I got $5. Okay. Celebrate that $5, because guess what? It's going to turn into 10. So if you don't hang out, this is the only thing I have, because that's lack. And if we look in nature as an example, there's no lack in nature. Every tree has thousands of seeds. You know, they've got millions of roots. They got all kinds of systems within it. So if something bad happens to it, the tree is just like, no problem. I got all these other things on here. So the nature lack. So whenever we're experiencing lack or loss or grief, or the heavier ones that Dr. Susan was saying, it's not true. It's a reality that we're experiencing, but it's not the truth of who we are. So gratitude has a high vibration that kind of spirals. If we saw it in a frequency, if gratitude had a sine wave to it, it would be an evolving, kind of like the pebble with rings coming out. It's an ongoing energy field, and gratitude, whatever we're grateful for, increases. So we want moving forward environment that we're creating for ourselves, because when we're in lack, we feel powerless. As soon as we get into the gratitude elevator, we can push any button and say, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that, I'm grateful in the future my kids will come back to me and they'll understand who I am. I'm grateful for my parents, because generationally we're tracking, and if I have grievance against my mom and dad, guess what's gonna happen to me? So I have to clean up what's in my history so I'm not repeating it, because epigenetics shows us clean it up or it's going to repeat.
Indeed.
Ursula, one of the things that I'm always confused about, I mean, this country I landed, which I did not have when I moved from India. Is a selfishness, me culture. It is so strong in this country. It is really, it became no fellow human being. Step on everybody, go to the top. I don't know what that satisfaction gives them, or is that power. What the result of the whole thing? The system will fail eventually because that me culture is a very astonishing to me outsider.
Yeah, it's commercialism. It's bred into us that they want us to compete, drive commerce.
So, but Ursula, my question to you is, okay, so Ramana just said what he just said. And so, but isn't that once again his focus? I mean, I know it's out there, and we know you, Ramana, are a master of physics. So you know if you focus on that type of behavior, that society is conformity and that it's awful and mean and it's horrible and the world is terrible. Isn't that what we get back? Where in the exact same thought, in one breath, there's a
Good
beautiful
point.
state that the gratitude ladder we just talked about. So in literally not even you tell me the timing on a thought, which we all of our guests have told us the speed of a thought. And in just that quick, we can change the lens. You're about to go spend the night under the stars. I mean, that's just like the most amazing blessings. Can't we just that quickly? Why is it so hard for people sometimes to switch gears?
Because of our programming and our habits. We're creatures of habits. So if my history, my lineage, I'm half German and half Italian. So if my Italian side were always like, hey, let's have a party, hey, let's have a coffee, hey, and I don't work really hard, then I'm not going to be very successful. So it's in my DNA. And then get it together, get on schedule, come on, be on time, do the thing. So I have both of those sides within me. So we have to see, like Ramana's a visitor. You're saying, Ramana, in India, we're not selfish. Everybody's like, here, I got a piece of bread. Like, here, let's go here. Here, I got a bicycle. Let's all climb on. So you guys share and you celebrate each other's wins because that's the culture. So our age 7 and
We are
before in our
exporting that to India now. This kind of a selfish culture we are exporting to other countries. That is sad part more.
Yes, we are exporting. It's a good way to say it. But see, when people care, like Dr. Susan and yourself, we can have the eyes to say, oh, this isn't working. And we can tell our friends and raise our children in the way that says, it's all exciting, but it's a very shiny thing, and it leaves people empty. So life is about fulfillment. We all could die tomorrow. So if we're chasing something, we've missed the whole idea of why we're here. So if we honor death and respect death, we're going to live a better life. So we can slow down and say, this is the only moment we really have. So hanging out with you two guys, I'm having a great day, right?
Yes,
it's just awesome.
The best.
You're talking about death, our mutual friend, Dr. John Ross, is in a hospital. He's almost in the final days, but anyway, that's a different issue. But let me ask you, Ursula. Yeah, that's a. Susan always reminds me, why do you want to comply? Complaining is bad. I learned from her. Don't complain. Talk about doing things.
Keep it up. Susan.
Yeah, even at the worst time of my, my son came in on my podcast, and then I felt good. So my daughter, my son, both of them very well. You know them, you met them. But I tell you that gives me some kind of a positive energy there. But I tell you something interesting about life. So what is Hinduism? It said that Susan was mentioning about the 4 phases of life that you do young, and then you marry and have kids, and then die, and then become older and die. But I think that is not dying is not the end goal. It must be a self-realization is the final goal, is not the attainment of knowledge and goal and purpose.
Which is daily, which is every minute, which is every breath.
Right.
Isn't
Yeah. So in the study I'm doing, I believe that this all is a joke. And if the, how to break the code of suffering is to realize this is heaven on earth. And all we have to do is figure it out and accept it and live from that idea. And if we live from that idea, that's why I mentioned death, because if we understand death, then we're going to live a better life. If we're just ignoring death, then we don't understand our numbers are counted, and every moment is precious, and we're alive here and now, and lucky us. Back to gratitude. Just thinking like, oh, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. God. And when I start focusing, like Dr. Davis said, when I start focusing on my gratefulness, it is heaven on earth. Yes, there's suffering. Yes, I'm mad about things that are going on, about the things that people are doing and the horrible things, the way people are treating each other. I can't ignore that, but I'm not going to focus on it. What I can focus on is sharing love and being a good person, and making sure everybody that I walk by, I see you. I see you. The little kids are always looking around like no one's looking, no one's looking. I always catch their eye and they're like, oh, someone's looking at me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm present with you. How you doing, little kid? And then they're like, oh, someone's looking at me. And then they hide their eyes. But we need to start connecting and looking at each other and understanding the values of life are very, very important, especially in this time of chaos, because we're in another phase. We are in another cycle, the age of Aquarius. So it's the falling of the Piscean age and the rising of the Aquarius age. And it's not like we're mad at the power over patriarch system. It's just run its course. So now we're like, oh, okay, good, because I didn't like it anyway. And then we can start figuring out, okay, what's something better? So this new timeline is the divine feminine rising. So the way women at our highest, not when we're all crazy and emotional, but when we're in our correct place of love, and that we're the center of the family, and we make wise decisions on behalf of all people. We provide homes and meals and magic and reason and beauty. Now the world's going to be a better place.
Yes.
There's no conference table that has seated all women that we're going to say war is a good answer to solve our problems. We will never say, let's kill other people's children to solve somebody else's problem. We'll never say that. We're going to have war, but it'll be fought differently. So these are the kinds of things that we can bring forward as we become more conscious. And you said self-realization. So, it's like, what's the meaning of life? Whatever you want it to be. You get to decide. That's that free will piece.
I think like you said something about not ignoring what's happening out there, but yet isn't our individual participation, that regulation of our singular minds, so that the ripple effect that comes from us when we are man or woman, but you brought up women and the mother and the moon and our femininity, but when we are powerful, we are very powerful. Our ripple effect will lift anybody and everybody that's within our ripple. So if we build our energy, we can save the world. But it is self-work, and it is a rising of your personal vibration, and we can share it. I share it with Ramana shares it with me. It's not that we're ignoring what's happening in the world, but I choose to emanate good. I choose to emanate good. Anything I do and everything I do, how the way you do one thing, the way you do everything, being on this show, being with you, being with Ramana. So I don't like being down. My question to you is, it gets very frustrating with me when I work tirelessly. Literally, I've gotten the science I say, that's your brain in there. Is somebody else running the ship? You're running the ship. So can you choose that happier moment? Happy is a silly word, but choose to ripple a positive effect. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't affect me and me down, but I just choose not to stay there very long. I say often to Ramana, it's like being a dog on a dead fish. Get on it, roll on it real good, and then shake it off, and get on back. We have so many good things to do. So it's hard for me, Ursula. Sometimes I don't understand why people can't shake it off.
The DNA, the cycles, the conditioning. Before age 7, Whatever
Conditioning.
whatever paint got splashed on our canvas, that's who we are. And in my opinion, we are empathic at that age, because before the brain comes online, we're little infants. We're looking around, we're sensing. Before we're feeling emotions, before we're understanding language, we're sensing, like, oh, something's not right, or oh, there's a lot of love, or oh, I'm in danger, or oh, I'm hungry. Like, these are the not thought processes. So we're sensing an environment just like an animal does. Oh, let me go there. Oh, I think there's water this way. Oh, I better hide. I hear some noise. So we're sensing. We're just a sensory being. And then the brain comes online and the emotions come online and the reactions do. So anything that happened before 7, that's our hard drive. So when you say just stop it and be positive, you're saying just like ignore the hard drive and run all the software on top of it. But the default will always come. That's why I do the subconscious work, because I go into the hard drive and we take out the stuff that's not supposed to be there, because our original design is love, kindness, helping one another.
Isn't that the hard drive? Isn't love the hard drive? It's the software that I want gone. It's the software that it's all the man-made software.
This is love. This is love.
Okay.
The power that runs it all is love. My computer is the hard drive, and my preferences are the software.
Okay.
Oh,
and
that's
it's
beautiful.
software that nature versus nurture that forms a ripple effect.
Let us talk about, I'm in Silicon Valley. I have to talk about artificial intelligence a little bit. All these people in this town, only one thing. There's 8 people there, LinkedIn, Facebook. I know them, some of them are direct, indirect. People who work with them directly. Also, I know some people, mayors and everybody. But one thing I noticed is these people, they think democracy is not important. We want to put a big temple in somewhere, $500 billion temple, and then we want to control everybody, every thought process. Isn't it like a dangerous thought process that is? Think about that humans to be controlled, your way of thinking, way of doing the work. It is really taking away humanness. What is your opinion? Maybe I'm wrong, but it's very unsettling to me as a part of the Silicon Valley. Tell me.
Yeah, we've talked about this for years because you've seen it coming. And it is a concern because it's just a new dictatorship. But, they're, instead of controlling the money or the food or the whatever, now they're controlling our minds. So the children are being raised to not think for themselves on purpose, because if somebody's not thinking for themselves, you can control them. So it's a very scary world. And this is the chaos that Dr. Susan is saying. Like, we can't focus on that. We got to hurry up and start building camps over here that are how to grow food, how to get energy from the sun, how to meditate, how to be loving and kind to one another.
How to raise cattle. How to raise. Who's that?
What's
Dr.
that?
Ursula,
She raises cattle and all those things. She raises food. She makes her own food.
Okay. See?
we farm here in Florida.
There you go.
So I love the point that you're bringing up right now. And when he starts talking about this, I just wrote an article the other day. I haven't published it yet, but it was DI versus AI. So divine intelligence versus artificial intelligence. Like, I don't know what everyone's so worried about. I'm in the DI bank. Like, I just believe in it. I know that it will win. There's no beating it. There's no such thing. It can't even exist. So whatever this is, good always wins, doesn't it? Light over dark and these sorts of things. So I'm on team DI. What do you think, Dr. Ursula?
Right. I call it OI, original intelligence.
There, okay.
We're on the same page.
I'm in.
We're on the same page. So they're just like there's the traditional story of the hero's journey. So we're in a little chapter right now of a long humanity experience, just like you were saying, cycles. So we're in a cycle right now where it looks like we're in a destructive, because things have to, even in science and nature, things have to collapse before they explode. So we're in a collapsing time, and you have to have control in order to collapse. Because to me, darkness, the nature of darkness is self-destruction. And we're watching that happen. But we don't have to be a part of it. We can be on the sidelines going, oh, what a shame. Oh, dear. Look what they're doing now. Oh, my goodness.
Ripple.
So the more we have conversations, exactly what we're doing in this very moment, we're saying that's not so important. That's a part of a cycle. I'm not going to feed it by being afraid of it or mad at it, because those feed darkness.
Perfect. Well said.
You talk about divine intelligence. Susan is talking about both your. I'm going to show you some kind of a divine intelligence. I'm going to present a topic on the divine intelligence a little bit. So let me do that. 1 second. I think that's I'm going to bring you all on the side. Yeah. This is really, you're going to like it. So, Ursula, this is your area I'm going to talk about a little bit. It's interesting, particularly this quantum ghost imaging. What is that imaging? So, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. As Arthur Clarke said that one time. It is a very, very powerful statement. He's a science fiction writer. He writes it. I tell you, there is a fortune teller. I'm going to tell you, crystal ball. I saw my friends doing it, but I never really experienced. What they do is they want to talk with a dead parent or somebody. They go to the fortune teller. What they do, they don't see the ghost. They see the ghost in that crystal ball, and then indirectly they see the crystal ball. That is at least the mystic nature of the explanation. Is that they can see in the crystal ball. But is there something that related to the scientific way? Is there something like that? Yes, that is called quantum ghosting. What it does is, I have a picture of a lamp, that candle. I can see the candle, don't see the object. No, nothing. There's no connection between the Susan in Florida or me in San Francisco. There's no connection. But both we're looking at what we do is the photons, the particles travel from this lamp, that's candle, go to us. They don't know each other. They know each other very strange way, but we can see each other through this magic. It is like almost fortune teller crystal ball of quantum ghosting. And I'm going to explain to you how it works a little bit. Very fascinating technology this is. This is a little bit of confusing that they didn't do a good job about that, but actually there is a photon, two photons are particles, is a light. Photon is a light, basically. There is a two photons, you can entangle them because same source, you take a crystal and bombard with a laser, so that it produces two photons. They're entangled. Entangled photons are produced through crystals. Still, crystal is there. Remember, crystals are very important. So one goes to the image, one goes to the tissue, that like a body, human body. Other goes to the detector. But the second one, you see the the photon B never even cross. That's a little bit of a wrong one. This is I don't know what this is. I took it out, this one, but I don't know why she did put But anyway, so the photon A just sees the tissue body, and photon B never sees, but it reconstructs that image of what it sees. That's a very strange that's called ghost imaging. It's a truly ghost imaging. This is a phenomena. It is a very, very new. very relatively new. It's very upcoming in physics. It's based on quantum entanglement. It's called quantum entanglement. Is a two particles, two sources that come from like a two twins, that they're separated from each other from birth, but they can feel each other. Is a metaphorically, but in the scientifically, quantum entanglement is two photons generated from two light rays, two light beams generated from each other. Two photons, they can affect each other. Very mysterious way. Photon A could be in the another planet, another star. Photon B in another star, but they instantly communicate. We don't know how that. That's still puzzling. It's called quantum entanglement. They affect each other. That means that's what. How does it possible? Two things are not even separated. They're separated. They have nothing in common. Albert Einstein called it spooky action at distance. He didn't like it. It's two things so separate. If I pinch somebody, they feel the pain in New York. That doesn't make any sense. So he said that he called it spooky action at a distance. But what that is, that's became a quantum entanglement. Now I'm going to explain. This explains the quantum ghosting better. If I take a crystal and then I can divide the crystal, I can bombard with the X-rays or laser beam. What it does is I can split that image into the rays into two. One rays is only 1%, and then other photon is a 99% stronger. 1% stronger, 99% stronger. In our body, 1% is always goes through. It's already our body always 1% there. So it's like you're sending a photon. It doesn't make any difference whether you're sending a photon or the already photon inside our body. So it's like a ghost. So many photons go through our body. So a photon is sending, but only one thing difference here. Photon A and photon B are correlated. They started as a brothers. They're going there, or sisters, whatever you say. So, but one is, we can make it stronger, other one is weaker. But they have a correlation. They have this unexplained connection they have between these two photons. So one, you put an X-ray. Photon A goes to X-ray. That means, Susan, this is the 1 millionth dosage-wise, the radiation dosage. You can cut down almost 1 millionth of the dosage what you give in X-ray. Because photon A is just like any other photon, is just light. It cut down the radiation exposure almost a millionth time. So photon B has all the strength. It's very dangerous. Photon is a lot of stronger. But both, they don't touch each other. But because of the correlation, because of entanglement, I can put whatever this photon producing the image there, I can, what is a photon doing in that chest X-ray? I can produce it much easier here because it is a magnified 99%. Okay? It is a totally magnified. So without touching the body, I'm seeing the body there because of this mysterious quantum entanglement. These photon A and photon B, they started from a journey from someplace, but they never come across again. But they communicate through this quantum entanglement, a mysterious phenomena. They communicate, and then they do produce that image on the bottom. There's a lot of scientific fact. For example, if you take an X-ray on the top, it is a very fuzzy. But the same X-ray here you can see much more clear because you can manipulate, because photon A and photon B are inseparable in that sense. So if photon A goes through a lot of noise, that's a big problem in the medical imaging, because photon A is a lot of cells in our body, a lot of water, a lot of hydrogen. It gives a lot of problematic with images. But with the quantum entanglement, what it does is it doesn't change that entanglement. So it is always affecting the B. A and B are correlated. So whatever the A is doing, B is amplifying it. So it doesn't matter what kind of a noise is there. It reduces the dramatically noise. That's a phenomenal resolution you can get it because of the medical imaging. It is a pure blessing. So that's where Einstein was wrong, and eventually he was convinced that there is a photon. There is one time he said that these two particles before they separate each other, they made a pact. That's what he said. So that is called EPR paradox. But then they proved it. They proved it that there is no pact at all. Experimentally proved there is no pact. They act mysteriously, each other influence each other. So they won the Nobel for that. To prove that, actually, the three people: Anton Zelinger, Elion Aspect, John Clauser is from here, close by, and then Anton Zelinger from Austria. They all got the Nobel Prize. Last year, 2022, they won the Nobel Prize for this. They proved these two particles have no connection between them, but they influence each other. They won the Nobel Prize for that. These are very purely scientific. So what that Brookhaven Labs, for example, one of the labs, what they did was they did a very interesting thing. They took these kind of electrons, you make them like a bunch of people, like you go to the big games, you go and people wave, they all look like one wave. So you took the electrons, made it as a quantum system, like a human acting like a quantum system. What is a quantum? I could be in multiple places at the same time. So they put a bunch of electrons together, not size of the human, but almost they're starting the process. So they put a bunch of electrons together, acting like a quantum system means it could be in multiple places at the same time. So that's what they did in Brookhaven. They created this a quantum system through electrons and created this X-rays, and then hit the crystal, and one beam goes to the human body, other goes to the detector. There is no connection. That's only entanglement. So detector imaging is excellent. The drug delivery, you can do that. You can do. So we are using the entanglement to treat the cancer, to treat anything, because you don't have to. I remember. Do you remember Ursula? We met Dr. Susan Kolb. She was Susan Kolb. She used to do in Dunwoody. She used to be there in plastic surgeon, breast surgeon. She's I remember taking you there. I remember seeing it. But she said one time, she told me, I treat on a petri dish, and then cancer goes away. That's I thought it's a funny, and this kind of things can exist scientifically in a way that enzyme you can see through the affecting as one beam. You work on the big beam, and it magnifies the odd beam. You can whatever you work on the big beam, it does in the odd beam. So you can really work through you can see everything much easier and without exposing too much of radiation, particularly cancer radiations.
Romana, in these two beams, would one of them, the one on the right, let's just say the one going to the patient, would that be the one with the 99%?
Yeah,
and
correct.
The one would be the 1%?
Correct.
Okay.
So patient goes to the 1%, 99% goes to the detector. So,
but they're that's not what I said. Okay.
They're entangled. 1% goes to the only 1%. So
I was thinking the 99% would go to the patient because it gave a crisper, better image.
It's too much radiation.
Okay.
So zero radiation to the patient, because almost zero, because photons always go through our body. So zero radiation to the body. That's why ghost particle they call. On the right side is 99%. Because of the quantum entanglement, then that image comes on the right side.
Love it. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, yeah, that is
Have they,
that is
have they done this already, or it's in study
they
now?
already done. They already done. They
Wow,
already done.
fantastic.
So
Fantastic.
they're expanding into QPET, quantum MRI, quantum entanglement is with quantum PET. So most of these PET scans, that the problem is a lot of noise because our body has a lot of water, a lot of cells, the images are scattered. So, but when you entangle them, they don't forget about each other. You know, by this strange way, they're monogamous. This entanglement is a monogamous. This is a real technical word because it cannot entangle with other one.
Right.
You know, that is this is also a big problem in in black holes. So two entangled photons, one goes to the black hole inside, one comes outside. Then both of them are separated, but they have to communicate each other. How do you do that? That is a very strange because it goes into the realm of divine nature there. So something funny goes there, but 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 you can use that correlation, quantum entanglement correlation and entanglement and correlation. You can create images with a PET CT scan, where the gold standard for detecting cancer. You can do that through a PET scan. So QPET is coming up. So medical devices, they're QPAD, QMRI, QX-ray, all of them are quantum entangled things is going to coming in the future. Quantum ghost imaging for prostate cancer detection you can do. That's one of the things. Breast cancer detection, all the detections you can do. Early detection. Actually, before cancer cell becomes even thinking about cancer cell, this can detect. So high resolution, exact location, photodynamic. You can use a photodynamic therapy. What they do is they give a light source. These cells, some of the cells don't like light. So you go there, you send a quantum dot, you sell a quantum dots,
And they don't
but
like
then
light because they're diseased, right? I mean, they don't like light because all cells like light, but they don't like light because they're already failing,
yeah, that's
right?
correct. Yeah, that's the failing because there's a photo sensitive. These are all actually medicines. They are medical injections. You can give a photo sensitive injections they give. So pranic healing, she does. This is the Ursula's word. Is a transfer energy without touching body. That's what they talk about it. Right? The spiritual side. Is above my pay grade about thinking about that. But scientifically, ghost imaging is seeing the body inside without touching the body. That is actually, we don't do anything without it. You can create the body images inside. That is something common there. So that's all. Thank you for watching. Let me get
Excellent.
that. Yeah.
Good
Bravo.
job.
Bravo.
Good job. Thank you for putting pranic healing on there, Ramana.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, wow, how about that for a transition right into that's awesome.
Yeah. Let me ask. Yeah. So that is a very strange kind of a connection we are getting into. Is a divine. We don't a lot of things. We are. I think humans are sometimes over confident. I think over. We think we know everything in the world, but there is Susan says that divine nature. If you believe that, I do truly believe. You have to go follow through the divine aspect of it. Then believe in this kind of things will help us pass through these times. And I want to ask you a question, then Susan can follow that up. We society puts a lot of restrictions. 90% of the problems are society made up rules. You cannot meet
Yes.
that. This age, this, just made up
Yep.
as they go. And then the same people change overnight. Tomorrow they change something or there is a day. So how do you handle this constantly changing stupidity? How do you handle that?
I've been talking all year. I call it inner resourcing, because our trained resources. Oh, pay attention to the government, pay attention to the religion, pay attention to the education system, do whatever the adults say. And it's not working. So
Mhm.
the people who have in our generation have been raised that way, they're like, well, what do I do now? It's called inner resourcing. The very things that have kept us alive for thousands of years are in our intuition and what's our heart is telling us. So those are 3 levels of understanding the world around us because we understand the world ahead of us. So if a military, I always go because I have past lives military. So if you look at a battlefield or you're a general and you have to make a bunch of decisions and you're standing in the middle of a battlefield, you can't be a part of the chaos. You're looking ahead. You're like, okay, if this goes, I'm going to lose these many men. We're going to run out of ammunition. The rain is coming. This is happening. They're coming on from that hill. So he's looking at all of the things in a calm manner because he understands systems, he understands cycles, he understands priorities. So from that inner structure, he is able to make decisions in the middle of chaos.
That is a brilliant analogy of life in a if we were in one cell. That was a brilliant way to define that. I appreciate that a lot. That was awesome. Now I want to circle back, Ramana, if I may, just quickly. It was a perfect segue into pranic work. You work in prana. You work in prana. I mean, can you explain that to? What does that mean? I mean, what does that mean? What do you do with it?
Thank you. Master Choa Kaksui created pranic healing and Arhatic yoga. I've been involved in this since 2008. This man was a genius and he watered everything down and simplified it. But when I got my doctorate in consciousness studies, I was like, this is quantum. He knew it all along. He just didn't say it. He said energy healing, consciousness, love. And I'm like, oh my God, he was brilliant. So we're working in the quantum field and we don't even have to understand it because he's like, oh, it works. What's happening is this energy field called Ursula is connecting with the energy field that is beating my heart, breathing my lungs. I am accessing, okay? I'm going back to original source and I'm saying I am a computer now. I am a program and I have a certain education, this hard drive. So I learned the systems of energy and we call that pranic healing. So prana in India is chi. In Asia, it's in Asia it's chi, and in India it's prana. In US, it's energy. And then if you believe in God, go ahead and call it God because that's what it is. So if I can
We're all talking about the same thing, right?
Yes,
I mean,
yes, it's just different words. It's all a frequency. So in my quantum world, I call it intelligence. It's active intelligence with love and power as qualities. So if this intelligence that's running the whole show that doesn't have a face with a beard, it's just pure intelligence, and I'm made of that intelligence. You take a little cell off and look at it in the microscope, yeah, that's a lot of intelligence in that little thing. So everything about me is intelligence. My freedom of choice is chosen. I've chosen ignorance on a regular basis because of my upbringing, because of my programming, because of my history, because of who I thought I was told to be. So all of these things filter me. So as I can take them off and just say, okay, let me go into the system. So sorry to diverge, but pranic healing is accessing intelligence and then moving through the laws and principles that he clearly defines, very, very simple. And I'm working on the blueprint of somebody else, not what their sickness is, not if they're missing a leg, just their blueprint. And I'm cleaning the blueprint, reminding the rest of the body of what is the original design. And when that strengthens, when that frequency underneath it all, so to speak, is higher and cleaner, it affects the system and it course corrects from dis-ease to parasympathetic state.
so my question to you, and I'm sorry, Ramana, I'll pass it back in just 1 second. So
No, you go ahead, and I want to be spectator here.
So all that being said, I highly honor and respect the work that you do. to share the knowledge that you have with humanity, with others, with anyone who seeks you, because of the frequency that you are. People come to you and you willingly gift your ripples to them based on all of your education and your knowledge. I find that extremely honorable. Now, like, conversely,
Thank you.
you know, I'm a doctor of nursing practice. I work with patients. I work in all, I do work, but I do the work that you do, and it's very personal to me.
Yes.
I do it. It's literally every single breath I take, I regulate. I compare it to nature. I understand the vibrations of the planet. I wrote a poem that says I speak the silent language, meaning like the words are the problem, you know, like, so I get it. My question to you is, besides honoring you for feeling, I want to give my gift too, but I get frustrated because I don't, you know, it's like when you live it, I live it. I live at a higher vibration. And when you're around so many that want to, I don't think it's not even want, they just haven't maybe done the personal work to raise the vibration. I'm struggling these days with sharing it when people aren't necessarily receptive to it because they're at a lower vibration to begin with. So maybe this isn't the arena for that conversation, but I feel like it's very amazing that you willingly gift that.
Yeah, well, I get paid for it too. I have to eat, so right. But yeah, but in order for you to eloquently recognize what I'm doing, you also are doing the exact same thing, but you're doing it in a different way. Because for you to be able to see what I am, who I am, how I am, I'm mirroring who you are.
Mm.
And that's that quantum entanglement,
Yes,
because you and I are one. We're coming from oneness. Because when we can go way, 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 way back and understand death, understand the purpose of life, understand the vibration of gratitude, then we're always going to speak the same language because we're on course. We're in divine flow. We're in alignment. Like Romana was saying, that beam, that A particle is in alignment with something, and the body is it's okay for photons. It can go through. But when there's a disturbance, a disbody, it will not allow the alignment. But when we're in a relaxed situation, when we're in a place of trust, when we're in a place of respect, and all the things that are viewed, you know, for centuries, then we can be more receptive. So a patient can come to you and say, "Oh, crab, complain," and you're like, "Listen, it's your attitude," and they go, "Oh," then they can leave in alignment.
And being, and then to your point, and that was wonderful, and I appreciate that, because you know what, you just helped me, because I do it everywhere I go, and every human connection that I have, every single one of them. So we're like tuning forks, right? Yes. Romana, you can speak to this. When he and I are together, I'm like a tuning fork. My vibration is what it is, and when his is different than mine, if we spend some time together, we can tune one another, and it just feels better. And then we feel more joyous, and we can go into that gratitude ladder that we began this conversation about. So I love bringing people onto the gratitude ladder.
Coming to the
elevator. Don't make them work so hard. Put it into an elevator so they don't have to work so hard.
Perfect. Yeah, that's better. I like that. Okay, cool. Yeah, Romana.
We can stay after the podcast. Stay as it is then, but the podcast is getting over. Thank you, Ursula. You know, you're my friend for a long time. We speak all the times. We are, you know, indirectly connected souls. We are, you know,
right.
that, you know, that I learned. You know, I was, you know, I want to admit myself one time. I was arrogant not to, you know, give enough credit to the spirituality enough. Now, as a scientific guy, then I changed my perspective, and I admit that, you know, my ignorance at that time. So we became friends.
Wait a second. That's the exact perfect example of Dr. Davis. She's saying, why are people so, you know, like stubborn about not understanding love and frequency and stuff? Your training, your scientific training did not allow for spirituality. So he's attracted to what I was saying because your mom used to practice pranic healing on you. And in tradition, right, in your Hinduism and all of that, you have spirituality, but your scientific brain would not allow you. So you articulated like, no. And I'm like, he'll come around. And here you are, because science has allowed you to come around, because science is more quantum. Everyone's talking quantum now, like it's normal.
So true. Quantum's like an everyday language, but yet what we just spoke about very frankly and transparently this whole evening was purely love and authentic. This is authenticity and love at its best from a scientist and from our varied backgrounds. So I'm extremely appreciative of just this free flow of conversation of, good vibes, man. I just love it.
Love,
thank you for coming. Thank you all. Good night. It is a wonderful.
We are retelling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it